Hello, hello. Welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about how to satisfy the five tastes on a raw food diet. So that's the sweet, the sour, the bitter, the salty, and the umami. So how do we get that on a raw diet? Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video. Before we begin, I have some epic news. The Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is back for 2025 and it's absolutely all brand new. So you don't have anything that is in this bundle. It's all brand new. Every single one of us created something brand new for this bundle. I have contributed my brand new sushi ebook that has 160 recipes in there. There's sushi rolls, there's sauces and toppings and sprinkles and sides and all kinds of really fun stuff. Sauces, dips, pastes, ferments. It's a really awesome, fun book and a way to get some umami. We'll talk about that in a second, but please go grab the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle 2025 right now by following the link in the description box below. This bundle will only be here until May 11th, 2025. It ends at midnight on May 11th, PST time. And you're getting over $1,000 worth of all the brand new content that has been contributed to this bundle. If you were to buy it all separately, all the new stuff from everybody after the bundle, it would cost you over $1,000. But for right now, until May 11th, we all decided to launch our brand new stuff in the bundle for $50. All you pay is $50 and you get to download all the new content from everyone who contributed. I also wrote with Chef AJ Make It Raw Volume 4. So this is the fourth installment in the Make It Raw series, and that is also available in the bundle. So it's a great way to get all of our new content that we have released right now. And it's available to you right now to download. The catch is you need to download the content before June 30th. 2025. So if you buy the bundle, please go download all of the content right away onto your device before June 30th. The reason being is because fees have gone up dramatically and we can't do the one you're hosting anymore. It's gotten way too expensive. So we are offering until June 30th. It takes maybe 5 minutes to download everything. There's just over 25 different things that are in the bundle. So it's only going to take you a few minutes to download everything onto your device. Once it's on your device, you get to open it and enjoy it unlimited. So we only host the files until June 30th and you can download all of that. So just wanted to make everyone aware of that because I know past bundles have been a year, but because we can no longer justify that cost, the cost went up last month and it was a big surprise to us. So we have to change it this year. But don't worry, like I said, it only takes 5 minutes. Download all the content and it's yours on your device as long as you don't delete it. We do suggest that you put the files in a safe backup place like Google Drive or Dropbox or USB stick so that you have them just in case something happens to your main device. You've got that. And you should do that for all your other important files too. Very important. So with that said, go check out the bundle. The link is in the description box below. There's tons of new awesome stuff in there. And we can get to our topic now. How to enjoy the 5 tastes on a raw diet. So we're to start off with sweet. This is such an easy one. Sweet, we all know exactly where we can get sweet from is fruits mainly. You could use other things like maple syrup, which isn't raw, but a lot of raw foodies, including myself, do use maple syrup. And you could do date syrup, which would be a raw item. The only difference between maple and date syrups are that the date syrup is a little bit more minerally and it's a little less sweet than the maple syrup. So it really depends on what you're making, but you can use date syrup instead. You might need to use a little bit more for your tastes or not. It depends, but date syrup is a raw option if you want to do that as well. So sweet is really easy. All fruits. Just add fruits and you're going to get that sweet edge. For sour, Usually, we all know what we can use for sour is lemons and citrus. Lemons, limes, kumquats, or grapefruit is another good one. Or you could do apple cider vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is a fermented raw, and most of them are unpasteurized, so they're a living food. So you could do apple cider vinegar if you want to get that sour, tangy edge. Mustard is another good one for that as well. If you dissolve a little bit of mustard powder in some water and let it sit for a little bit, then you get that kind of tangy, zingy flavor for the sour edge. So that's that for sour. And then we have bitter. So we do have taste buds to detect bitter flavors, and bitters are really, really, really good for digestion. They can stimulate the digestive organs to produce specific juices to help with our digestion. So things like greens, also really mineral rich stuff. This is going to be a little bit more bitter as well. All greens, most vegetables are going to have a little bit more bitter to them, specifically things like radicchio, endive, and iceberg used to be a little bit more bitter than it is nowadays. It's not as bitter as it used to be, but it is one of those, the ones that used to. Dandelion greens are another really great bitter green to include, as well as other veggies like even the cruciferous have a bitterness to them. So radishes too, which are cruciferous. But all of those are going to help lend to that bitterness that sometimes helps to balance out a complete dressing or salad or whatever. Sometimes we need that little extra bitter. Plus, like I said, it is good for our digestion as well. The next taste is salty. So this is an interesting one because most of us who are following a raw food diet try to eat on a lower salt diet. Sodium is essential. We need to have that to balance out the sodium potassium in our body for our cells to communicate. We need sodium. We just don't need the amount that the average person is eating, or even close to that amount. We don't need that much. The average North American is eating roughly around 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day, which is way too high. The recommended daily intake right now is set to 2,300 milligrams a day. I personally, as does Dr. Rick and Karen Dina, believe that around 1,000 milligrams to maybe 1,500 on the higher end. If you're following a low salt diet, try to aim for under 1,000 milligrams of sodium a day. But I hover around the 1,000 to 1,500 milligram range, which is far below the recommended daily allowance. And this is, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is just my thoughts. I'm throwing them in here. That I think that the RDA, the recommended daily allowance for sodium, is set already on the higher end because most people already eat so much salt that telling them to eat 1,000 milligrams or less wouldn't be something people could do. So they lowered it to a more like attainable amount, but I still think that the RDA is on the higher end. I think that it should be around 1,500 milligrams as like, you know, the higher end of the sodium intake. That said, how do you get that saltiness on a raw diet if you are not adding salt? So Nate and I no longer add salt to our dressings or anything like that, but we do strategically use some things that have higher sodium in them through fermentation. So even though there is a little sodium added, the fermented product is a little different than just putting straight salt on your food. And that's just what we believe. So miso paste is our preferred way to get the sodium in. And on a side note, I have very low blood pressure naturally. If I go no salt at all, like no miso, no coconut aminos, none of that, even if I just stuck with the other ones that I'm going to talk about in a second, like tomatoes or celery or what have you, I get low blood pressure. And when I stand up, I get faint, no matter how much I'm eating. If I'm eating 3,000 calories even, I still feel lightheaded and my blood pressure drops a little bit too low. So I for my body, I do need to have a little extra sodium in my diet. That's why, again, I try to eat around 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams a day, and it helps me to stay balanced. And again, this has nothing to do with under eating or whatever. I do need to have a little bit in my diet so that I can stay balanced with blood pressure because I don't want it to drop too low. It's not fun. So miso paste is our number one choice for adding sodium to the diet because it is a fermented product. So it not only lends sodium, but you're getting vitamins and minerals and enzymes and probiotics for the microbiome in the miso. So miso is such an amazing food. It's so great. There are different kinds of miso. On a side note, the lighter misos are a little bit more sweet. The darker misos are a lot more umami, which we are going to talk about in a second, because miso can play both roles. It can play the salty and the umami taste. So miso is quite a unique ingredient. We love to use it. We like to add it to our dressings in the sushi book that you get in the bundle that just launched today. So go get the bundle. Link is in the bio. You get the brand new sushi ebook, and we have how to make raw miso soups in there. And we use the miso in a lot of the recipes, again, for the microbiome, for the probiotics, for the enzymes, and for that little bit of salty to get that taste activation going on in the mouth. So miso is one of our choices. We also like coconut aminos and namashoyu. So namashoyu is raw, unpasteurized soy sauce. If you have an allergy to soy, choose the coconut aminos. If you don't and you want to have the namashoyu, it's a raw, unpasteurized soy sauce. So it is considered a living food, and you can use that instead. I find that the namashoyu is a lot more salty than the coconut aminos. The coconut aminos is a little bit more on the sweet side. The only thing is the coconut aminos are not raw. The reason being is because they had to start heating it to stop fermentation, because while they would ship it, like most of the bottles would explode during shipping because of the fermentation, because it was alive. So they had to start heating it to stop the fermentation from continuing so that they weren't causing a lot of waste, because there was a lot of waste. When it first came out, I remember working at the health food store, and it was so sad to see so many coconut amino bottles just go to waste because they were blowing up in shipping. So the companies had to start pasteurizing it so that they stopped fermentation. Now, that said, there are still raw foodies like myself, Nate. We like to use coconut aminos in our recipes. So as for produce, you can get sodium from produce for sure. It's a mineral. And the highest two sources that I like most are celery and tomatoes. So these are going to be really great for if you want to get more of that organic sodium. So having lots of tomatoes, lots of celery. Celery is so amazing for giving you that sodium, and that's where there is the celery seed and celery salt, which gives it that salty edge without having to add salt to your meal. So play around with that. And greens are going to be very, very, very mineral rich. So usually if somebody is having a craving for salty stuff, having something savory with a lot of greens can really satiate that, because usually when you're craving salt, you're craving salt that comes with a ton of other minerals. So it's not necessarily the salt that you're craving, it's minerals that you're craving. So having something really dark leafy green, having some celery, you could even put dates in the celery for a nice little snack. That's a really great higher calorie snack, because celery really isn't a lot of calories, but if you put dates in there and eat the celery that way, you're getting a little of the salty, you're getting the calories from the dates, and it's a nice combination, the two of them. Or have a bowl of tomatoes like I like to do. So those are some options for the salty. Also, seaweed tends to have a little bit more sodium in it as well, because it's from the sea. So you could add a little bit of seaweed to your meals as well to get a little more of that sodium. But that moves us into umami, and umami is the fifth taste. So it's hard to describe what umami is. It's kind of earthy and grounding and thick, so to speak. It's like a dense flavor. It's a bold flavor. And sometimes we are looking for that satiation. And I don't want to say it's a texture thing as well, but that might play a role in it. Like sometimes the texture, the thickness, like a paste kind of a thing, that earthiness. It's not quite bitter. It's not quite salty. It's kind of like in between there. It's like a very, very unique flavor that we taste when we're looking for something umami. And how can we get that on a raw diet? Well, there are some things that I want to chat about. First, though, grab the bundle because there is a lot of umami in the sushi book. Umami is a Japanese word. So we know Japanese food, sushi, the dips, the soy sauce, all of that is very umami and it is very satiating. So if you're looking for some kind of flavor that you're missing, it might be umami. So make some raw sushi and try some of these foods. So there are quite a few foods that hit the umami angle as well as the salty angle. For example, a really, really strong umami flavor is miso, coconut aminos, namashoyu, the soy sauce. Those are all very heavy in the umami, but they also lend to the salty as well. So those are some really great options to have if you are craving that kind of dense, earthy, bold flavor that umami brings. Something else that I really love that is umami too is sun-dried tomatoes and tomato powder. So tomatoes are umami, but the sun-dried tomatoes and the tomato powder, they bring this like boldness. And I guess bold would probably be my best word to describe umami. It's just there's something about it and it's so good. And on a side note with tomato powder and sun-dried tomatoes, a lot of people will message and say, well, you have to cook tomatoes to have more lycopene bioavailable or whatever. And which is interesting because the average person does not eat a lot of tomatoes in general. They might have like tomato sauce, tomato paste on a pizza. They might have a few tomatoes in a salad, but the amount of tomatoes in general that the rest of the population eats is not the same as the amount of tomatoes that I eat. So I am not worried about lycopene or needing to cook my tomatoes to get lycopene because I eat so many of them and you get it raw as well. So it's not like you're not getting it all. You still absorb lycopene. And lycopene is also not an essential nutrient. It's a bonus nutrient. It's an antioxidant. So it's not essential. It's not something that we have to get from our food. It's just nice that we do get it from our food. And sun-dried tomatoes and tomato powder, which is usually freeze-dried, which freeze-drying retains up to 97% of the nutrition. So it's very, very, very nutrient dense when you freeze-dry things. Tomato powder is a freeze-dried product, so it's raw. And freeze-drying the tomatoes or sun-drying the tomatoes, the lycopene is actually more bioavailable than cooking the tomatoes. So you've got two raw options that are higher in lycopene bioavailability that you can add that lend the umami. Nate and I go through so much tomato powder. I will put a link in the description box below for the tomato powder that we buy. If you have a freeze dryer, you can make your own. We find it just easier, even though we have a freeze dryer, we find it easier just to buy the tin of it. And we go through a lot of it because we absolutely love the tomato powder. It adds so much to your tomato sauces, your barbecue sauce. There's a recipe for ketchup. There's a wasabi ketchup in the sushi book that we use tomato powder in. It's so good. So, so, so good. So tomato powder is another one, and sun-dried tomatoes that is very umami, as well as ferments. So miso does fall into this category, but other fermented food like kimchi and sauerkraut, fermented carrots, fermented jalapeno, fermented garlic. Any ferments are going to have that umami-ness to them as well. So those are great options to add. Then we have olives. Olives are very umami. And again, they seem to go hand in hand with the salty. So you're getting that saltiness, but you're also getting that like thick, earthy, bold flavor and texture from these things, especially sun-dried black olives. Those are so good. Again, I'll put a link in the description box below for the sun-dried raw black olives that we like. There are other companies like, I think it's Big Picture Foods. They make truly raw olives. There are other olives that you can get that are pasteurized, but Big Picture Foods makes truly raw olives, and the sun-dried olives are also raw as well. So those are some options if you want to have a few olives to get that umami edge, because it really, really adds to a dish or to a salad when you're looking for that something little extra. Seaweed is also very umami. It's got that bold flavor, that kind of like chewy, thick creaminess to it. We have recipes for seaweed rolls and seaweed salad in the sushi book. So if you get the sushi book, you will get those recipes as well. Grab the bundle. Drops right now today, so go grab it and enjoy all of the new content from us. And then we have things like sprouted chickpeas and lentils. These are also umami. They may not be on the salty side, but they do have that earthy boldness to them. So sprouted chickpeas, sprouted lentils, sprouted peas, mung beans, those are going to have some umami too. Nuts and seeds do have a little bit of that umami too, the creaminess, more like the texture. The fattiness can help as well with the umami there. But another big one, this should probably be almost close to the top as like one of the big hits for umami, is mushrooms. Mushrooms are extremely umami. We want that. It's like the texture, it's the thickness, it's the boldness, it's so hard to describe. I know you know what I mean, right? It's so good. And in the sushi book, we have a bunch of different recipes for marinated lion's mane. And I do have about 5 or 6 pages talking more in depth about lion's mane mushrooms. You can eat it raw, and it's really, really, really good for brain health. So if you have access to get some lion's mane mushrooms, you can use other mushrooms as well. If you can't get lion's mane, you can always marinate portobello mushrooms. It'll taste a little different, but it's still awesome. So mushrooms are very umami, and they bring that umaminess to your meal if you are going to have mushrooms in there. So marinating the mushrooms with some coconut aminos and miso, it's like a double umami hit. It's so good. So we have those. We have some breaded lion's mane in there. We put it inside the sushi rolls. It is so good. I hope you do get to try that. But mushrooms are another very, very, very big source of umami flavor as well. Then we have nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is not a raw item, but a lot of raw foodies like myself, we still use nutritional yeast. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. There's other things that you can use that are umami as well. But nutritional yeast has that bold, earthy, thick, cheesy flavor. So that is another umami thing. And as for fresh produce, peas, sweet corn, and even bell peppers and garlic also have a little bit of that umami in them as well. So those are some other options that you can add to get a little bit more of that umami. The peas are quite an amazing addition. If you can find some fresh peas, shell them and freeze them and then thaw them, add those to your salad, add those to your raw soups or curries. Oh, so good. So peas are another really good one if you're looking for more of a fresh produce option for that, along with mushrooms, sweet corn, like I said, garlic and bell peppers are good too. So those are some ways to get some of those angles when you are making a salad or a dressing. Usually you want to have all the flavors in a dressing to get a really good, well-rounded flavor. If you're missing the sweet, if you're missing the salty, if you're missing the sour, if you're missing the umami, and umami can also be fats as well. So that's why nuts and seeds do work for umami. Sometimes you need a little bit of that, creaminess to it. If you're missing any one of those 5 flavors, the bitter even, it's going to taste a little off. We like to have all our taste buds activated. And, like there are other instances where we don't, like if we're having a bowl of mangoes, that's going to be great. We're going to get a nice hit of heat of sweet. But if you're making a dressing and you want it to taste full bodied, you got to hit those 5 taste buds so that everything's activated and you're like, this was a good dressing. It felt balanced. Sometimes dressings I've made in the past have felt like they're missing something. Like we're missing some salty, we're missing a sour, and we're missing this. And it just doesn't I mean, it tastes good, but it's just not quite there yet, you know? So you need to look for those if you're looking for a more full-bodied salad or dressing or even a smoothie or a raw soup or something like that. Or just make some raw sushi. Make some raw sushi, have some wasabi. We have the gyoza dumpling sauce in there. We have dumplings made with nori. Raw Chef Yin is like queen of umami. She has in the bundle. You want to go get the bundle because you get Raw Chef Yin's brand new raw vegan Chinese takeout course. She's got beef and broccoli. She's got fortune cookies in there, the egg fried rice, egg foo young. There's so many awesome recipes in there. Nate and I have been loving her recipes. They are very umami. So if you are looking for something like that, get the bundle. You're getting sushi, you're getting Chinese takeout, you're getting Nate's cracker book. There's so much in this bundle that is all brand new. So you do not have anything that is in this bundle. If you want to get all the new content from everybody who has contributed, you're going to want to go grab it now before the end of May 11th, because then you won't be able to get it anymore. You'll be able to buy all of our stuff separately, but if you wanted to buy all our stuff separately, it would cost you over $1,000. So for 50 bucks until May 11th, you get all the new stuff. If you click the link in the description box below and go get the bundle now. This is the bundle time. We're going to have lives going on. We have so much stuff happening. So you're going to see lots of videos posted here on YouTube. Again, it's a party. So hope you join in. Hope you have some fun. Hope you get the bundle. It's a great way to support us. But more importantly, it's a great way to support yourself by including more raw. You don't have to be all raw to enjoy the raw bundle. We all know we should be eating more raw food. So go grab it and add more raw food to your life. Have some fun with some creative recipes and enjoy. We will be back tomorrow for another video and lots more lives. Until then, I love you and fruit on.